This is our third weekend. And at the end of today's presentation, we have an interactive sharing of insights gained in weekend one and weekend two. We have studied quantum psychology and quantum consciousness so far. And we have come to the point where we see the ordinary mind working with the quantum mind and how we can live and operate from both physical aspects of ourselves in a physical world and the vibrating energy aspects of ourselves to tap into the quantum realm. The unseen energy and the physical aspect of ourselves harmonize and flow into each other to create matter from energy, the same way mainstream psychology of the macro and quantum psychology of the micro harmonize and flow into each other. Quantum theory and traditional physics also coexist, each describing different aspects of the physical world. And quantum psychology and mainstream psychology complement each other to understand human behavior and consciousness. And physicists also rely on human intuition to develop theories that probe the quantum world. So we now see the macro and the micro working together to shape our experiences. Let us delve deeply into how the ordinary mind works with the quantum mind. As we make the pilgrimage from the ordinary mind to the quantum mind, we don't get rid of the ordinary mind's ego. It also gets onto the transformational journey to be refined. When the ordinary mind is refined, the ego and the higher self merge into each other to give us entry into the quantum field for the quantum experiences we might experience. The micro and the macro become entangled. The quantum world transitions to the familiar classical world we live in. And our classical experiences can arise from quantum phenomena through a process called decoherence that we will see later in details, as the quantum world of superposition and entanglement breaks down due to interactions with the environment as we observe the system. So, the localized ordinary mind is the means through which the non-local quantum mind expresses itself. And the refined ordinary mind works together with the quantum mind to give us the quantum experiences we go through, like intuition, telepathy, extrasensory perception, premonition, bilocation, walking on water, or even passing through walls. Humans access and process information non-locally for intuition and insights. And they also experience non-local connections with others through telepathy and extrasensory perception. The quantum mind can interact with the ordinary mind, that is the everyday classical brain processes, and the classical brain serves as a receiver for a more fundamental quantum realm or informational reality. The ordinary mind might access this universal field to explain phenomena like intuition, empathy, or shared experiences known as synchronicities. While logical thinking occurs at the classically describable level of the brain, the basic or more profound thinking processes operate at the quantum level, feeding information up to the classical brain. Some aspects of cognition, like language and motor control, are explained by classical neural networks, while others, like efficiency and unity of consciousness experience, might rely on underlying quantum processes. So the quantum mind operating at a deeper non-local level influences not only the classical brain neurons and networks, it also influences our physical reality. And the quantum mind might hold multiple potential outcomes in superposition, which the act of observation by the ordinary mind collapses into a single experience reality, that is observer effect, and quantum processes within neuronal microtubules undergo this objective reduction, a form of wave function collapse, and this collapse selects a single outcome from the many infinite possibilities, which the ordinary classical brain then experiences as a single unified moment of consciousness or choice. Before we continue with how the quantum mind works with the ordinary mind, let us first define quantum psychology by Isaac Rodriguez. The psychology we've known so far, the mainstream psychology, is defined as the scientific study of the mind and behavior, defining the localized finite mind. Quantum psychology, on the other hand, is the science and theory that studies the nature, the implications, and the relationships between the part of our quantum mind or consciousness that is non-local, the micro, governed by the quantum laws, and how it influences and interacts with our ordinary sensory, cognitive, neuronal, biological mechanisms, and the rest of our localized subconscious mind ruled by microscopic Newtonian laws. Let's break this down to understand it more fully. So when we look at this definition, quantum psychology is exploring both, one, the ordinary mind with its conscious mind, subconscious mind, and unconscious mind, the macro classical level, and B, the quantum mind, the micro level at the subatomic level. And this definition looks at the relationships between, one, the mind or consciousness that is non-local and governed by the micro-quantum laws, and two, the localized ordinary mind that is ruled by the macro-Newtonian laws, and three, how the micro-quantum mind influences and interacts with the ordinary mind, both at the conscious and subconscious levels, and D, the quantum mind interacts with and influences the conscious mind level of what we are aware of, the senses, the brain cells, the thinking processes, the biological processes, and the subconscious mind level of programs, memories, and limiting beliefs stored therein. So this quantum mind, the micro, and the ordinary mind, and the subconscious mind, the macro, are the two realms that don't operate in isolation, but interact dynamically. And the quantum mind, operating with quantum concepts, interacts with the ordinary mind. And as it interacts with the ordinary mind or the realm of conscious thought and awareness, it also interacts with the deeper subconscious mind of thoughts and feelings not immediately accessible to conscious awareness, and both operating under the familiar rules of classical mechanics. And this interaction bridges the gap between the mind and matter as observation-focused attention in the subconscious mind influences manifestation in the outer world of matter. Remember, the quantum field obeys our mind or consciousness. So the primary goal here is to study how part of our subconscious acts as a bridge between both the macroscopic and the microscopic physics. And this unveils the potential we have When we experience life, harmonizing both the material mind focused on the physical, visible material world we live in, and our spirit mind focused on the micro unseen powerful forces within us that operate using quantum principles that enable us to be and to behave like the mystery that we are. So, let us now look at the theories that talk about how the ordinary mind works with the quantum mind. And the first theory is known as the quantum field theory by Paul Dirac. And it gives us a hidden connection of the mind and universal energy. So, are you aware that you are energy? And that at the subatomic level, you are made up of quantum fields that are building blocks of who you are as a human being. And these are the same building blocks of everything in the universe. The fundamental constituents of reality and how the cosmos works. So everything in the universe, in the world, in the cosmos, including you, the house that you are, the music that you play, your phone, the particles in your body, the air you breathe, the water you bathe, the stars in the sky are all parts of the same field. They all have quantum fields. They are all made up of and are interconnected and interact through quantum fields of energy permeating all space and time. And these quantum fields within you and all things respond to our thoughts, emotions, and words. So in the quantum field, all events happen simultaneously. The micro-quantum mind works through the macro-ordinary mind, and quantum level phenomena in our brain microtubules give rise to consciousness, which manifests as macroscopic mental experiences in the classical mind. So the powers within our quantum realms are at work throughout the cosmos, and those deep connective forces that work within ourselves at the small things, at the quanta level, which are powerful forces, are the invisible quantum fields that spread out from each one of us, permeating into and from all other organisms. So the quantum field is the connection between people, between us and other organisms across space and time. So what we've been explaining is known as the quantum field theory. The second theory that explains how the quantum mind works with the ordinary mind is the integrated information theory by Giulio Tononi. Have you ever wondered what makes your consciousness experience unique? As you bathe in the beauty of the rising sun, the colors you see, the sounds you hear, the sensations of the warm sun on your skin, and the fragrance of the dew are all integrated to give a unified, integrated experience. So consciousness arises when all this information is processed in a unified, complex way. And our brains have over 86 billion neurons, forming trillions of connections full of neurons, each carrying this information. And our brain integrates this sensory information to create our conscious experience. And when all these connections work together, they integrate this information. And this integrated information is what integrated information theory suggests gives rise to consciousness. So in our brains, information doesn't exist in isolation. It is integrated across billions of neurons. And this high degree of integration gives rise to consciousness. And our conscious experience is unique because it is a specific combination of differentiated yet unified information. It explains how consciousness arises arises from subjective conscious experiences in the brain, and this happens from the degree to which a system integrates information. And this is known as the integrated information theory, which states that consciousness emerges when information inside a system, like the brain, is highly connected and unified. And as long as the information remains unified, it will be consciously perceived. The third theory that explains how the quantum mind works with the ordinary mind is the orchestrated objective reduction theory by Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff. So as you listen to this presentation, the conscious part of your ordinary mind that thinks and feels is connected to the entire cosmos with all other versions of you, other versions of your thoughts and feelings existing simultaneously within the field already. And this conscious part of your ordinary mind that thinks and feels doesn't just come from classical neural activity within the brain cells, but from quantum processes like taking place in the microtubules, where a particle can be in multiple places at the same time. And this superposition states between your ordinary conscious mind and the infinite versions of the field is maintained, creating a symphony of possibilities. But this harmony doesn't last forever. There comes a moment when this state of superposition collapses as we observe it, and the particle picks a single state. And this disruption of superposition is what is known as the orchestrated objective reduction event. So as you listen, an insight might filter through your subconscious mind or your conscious mind from the field of infinite possibilities because of what you've been thinking about what has caught your attention. And in the moment that insight came through, the superposition was disrupted by that orchestrated objective reduction event. And it was orchestrated by your attention through observation. And the various versions reduced to the single state of the insight that came through for you. And you chose a state through objective reduction. And this is known as the orchestrated objective reduction theory, which states that consciousness arises from quantum processes within microtubules rather than purely from brain activity. And the fourth theory that explains how the quantum mind works with the ordinary mind is the global workplace theory by Bernard Baus. How does the micro level quantum mind work with the ordinary mind at the macro to give rise to consciousness? How does consciousness work? As you listen to this presentation, you are receiving sensory input of what you are hearing, seeing, and feeling. And you are also receiving input from the subconscious mind of the memories triggered by what you are seeing and listening to. And this sensory input from your conscious part of the ordinary mind and memories from your subconscious mind, ordinary mind, are given attention by you. You are focusing on what you are hearing, feeling, and seeing and remembering. And out of all the many things that you are seeing, feeling, and hearing and remembering, you are only focusing on a particular sensory input and a particular triggered memory. Why? This is going to explain the global workspace. So our mind and brains are like a theater bustling with activity, with numerous actors and directors all working behind the scenes. And this represents the unconscious processes happening in our brain, the memories, the programs, each one of them specialized and operating in parallel worlds, and the conscious process of what we are seeing, hearing, and feeling. And it might be so big and overwhelming information. So how do we get to filter all this coming information? We can only focus on a few things at once. And there is so much that we can fit in on that stage at a given time. And how does something make it to the stage? out of all the input that is coming in. All these elements compete for attention. Everything we are seeing, hearing, feeling, and remembering, those that win the competition are granted entry onto the stage. Now the picture, a spotlight that is shining on that stage. And this spotlight is our attention. And what we give attention to illuminates certain actors, certain sensory inputs, and certain memories, bringing them out of the darkness into conscious awareness. And this illuminated stage is what is known as the global workplace. It allows information to be broadcast and integrated across different modules of our brain, and information is then distributed and coordinated across our whole cognitive system. And this sensory input and the memories you paid attention to have become part of your global workspace. So the next time you are trying to concentrate on something, either in meditation or lectio divina, remember, the theater is your mind with actors working tirelessly behind the scenes. And the brain is divided into various modules, each handling specific functions like vision, memory, and language. So attention plays a crucial role in selecting which information is broadcast to the global workspace, determining what we are aware of. So imagine you are in a room with a group of people all talking at once. Amidst the noise, you focus on one conversation. That conversation is part of your global workspace. It is what you are consciously aware of and can react to. And this is known as the global workspace theory, which states that consciousness arises when information is broadcast globally within the brain, making it accessible to a multitude of unconscious processes. So as we come to the end of this presentation, let us have examples of how the mental mind and the spirit mind work together. And the first example is in decision making and problem solving. The mental mind analyzes facts and uses past experiences to solve a problem, while the spirit mind provides a purposeful driven framework to align with our core values. For example, when facing a difficult career choice, the ordinary mind considers salary, job security, and skills, and the spirit mind provides the inner wisdom to ask, does this offer a sense of purpose and fulfillment, or will it leave me feeling empty? The best decision integrates both logical needs and spiritual alignment. The second example we'll look at is emotional regulation and resilience. So the ordinary mind can become overwhelmed by stress, anxiety, or negative thoughts. And the spirit mind observes them to be calmer without being controlled by them. For example, when experiencing anger or frustration in a traffic jam, an ordinary mind reaction, engaging in spiritual practices like taking a mindful pause or practicing deep breathing, helps the spirit mind to guide the individual to respond in that traffic jam with less reactivity, hence lowering the stress levels. The third example we'll look at is creativity and inspiration. The mental mind uses existing knowledge and logical processes for creative tasks, while the spirit mind connects to broader awareness flow, providing sudden inspiration and new ideas. For example, a writer uses their mental mind to structure a story and edit grammar. The creative inspiration, the aha moment for the plot twist or a character's deep motivation often comes from tapping into the less linear, intuitive spirit mind. The fourth and last example, cultivating gratitude and connection. The mental mind can get caught up in daily problems or sense of lack, And the spirit mind helps shift focus towards appreciation of what is present, fostering a sense of connection to the world and others. For example, at the end of the day, the ordinary mind might worry about an upcoming bill, and by engaging in a practice like gratitude or journaling, guided by the spirit mind, the individual mind shifts focus to positive aspects of their life, e.g., a good meal, a supportive friend, and this promotes a more balanced mental state. So, as we end this presentation, let us experience how the ordinary mind works with the spirit mind and quantum mind. You might be feeling overwhelmed by some stress and anxiety or negative thought patterns. And you might feel heaviness in your heart and unsettled. You might feel stuck, restless, or fatigued and ungrounded. The material mind focusing on the material world and its immediate needs. And the material mind looks for answers on the outside, while the spirit mind looks for answers on the inside. We want both minds engaged. With the spirit mind, observe these emotions without being controlled by them so that you can feel calmer, more resilient, and more responsive. So inviting the spirit mind to provide an inner compass or intuition, guiding choices, aligning with a deeper sense of purpose. Tune into the spirit mind for answers. If you tune in, you already know the information you need. The spirit mind is connected to everything all the time, and it pushes you to your desired life. So get aligned to the way things are pushing you and just let it happen. The universe knows where you need to go. The spirit knows where you need to go. Just flow with it. So each one of us will share the insights gained about the quantum principles and how they apply to your human mind. And two, the shift from the ordinary mind towards the quantum mind. And three, how you experience your ordinary mind working with your quantum mind to give you experiences not explained by classical physics, but can be explained by quantum physics. Thank you so much for listening. Let's each one of us take just 1 minute to tap into the insights we gained in weekend 1 and weekend 2. Thank you so much and blessings.